soldiers and the valor which was on display 25 years ago in this war which was thrust upon India by Pakistan, does it resonate with the citizenry of this country?
Well, it does, Amritpal. In fact, it does resonate. However, we have to remind the younger generation, as you rightly pointed out, India is one of the world's youngest country. A huge chunk of population is below 25 years. So we have to keep in mind that these are the people who have not seen it live, who have not been through that hard phase that the country was in 1999 when this war was thrust upon India. And we have to remind the people that what are we fighting for? Sure, when it comes to the armed forces, when it comes to the volunteers, when it comes to the medical personnel who are all giving their services during this difficult phase. In fact, this was a stab in the back in 1999, and how the Indian armed forces, fighting in that difficult terrain where the enemy was occupying higher positions, they had advantage over the Indian armed forces, what they had to endure and overcome to fight for the sovereignty of the country.
Absolutely. Akshay, I remember I was back in first year of college at that time, and I was very interested in what was beamed on our television screens. The National Highway 1 was, they were overlooking the National Highway. Had they cut off that highway, we would have just lost all contact, the road connectivity with Ladakh, and that would have been so for our armed forces to fight and reclaim their heights when the enemy was sitting at higher heights. So we unleashed our soldiers right to roll up to the or climb up the hills when they had advantage of just shooting down, and
absolutely.
So it was quite a war.
Absolutely. In fact, for the Indian Armed Forces, it was quite a surprise when the Indian Armed Forces got to know that the enemy has entered and is occupying positions, has made bunkers in the area, and is shooting down and trying to cut off the crucial highways of now the Union Territory of Jammu and Kashmir, and in fact, in that entire region. This was a nefarious design that was pre-planned, that was executed, with the highest authority, by the highest authorities in Pakistan. So this was no act of terrorist. The soldiers that were killed, of the Pakistani army, they in fact refused to take even the bodies of those soldiers, not even claiming back their fallen soldiers. So this is what India is fighting against, or has been fighting against since its independence. India is now a 75-year-old country as far as the independence is concerned, and since 1947 we have been seeing continuous wars. We have been seeing consistent efforts to destabilize the country through one way or another. It's not just Pakistan as well. There are larger players that have been at play as far as this entire war was concerned. This was a pre-planned war, and that is what the advantage was for the Pakistani soldiers that were occupying these heights, not just in the Kargil, but in Dras, in Batalik, in different sectors of Jammu and Kashmir. In fact, as far as these wars are concerned, despite the efforts that were being made by the highest of the government of India to establish trade, to establish better ties, this was in fact a stab in the back by the Pakistani military establishment that India suffered, in fact, and that is why India had to unleash several 100,000 soldiers in that particular region to overcome this particular design that was made to destabilize the region and cut off some of the most crucial territories. That was quite of geostrategic importance in 1999. And had it not been for the valor of the Indian Armed Forces, India would have suffered massive setbacks as far as the region is concerned, given the fact that Pakistan tried its level best to bring a ceasefire, to in fact to occupy those positions that it had done, by deceiving Indian armed forces in that region.
Absolutely. And Akshay, today stay on the line. The Prime Minister today said that he was, as a normal citizen of the country, in the midst of our soldiers. These pictures that we are playing on your screen, Narendra Modi in 1999 had gone right up to Kargil. He saw He was, of course, a political activist of the BJP, a political worker of the BJP. So he had gone up, he had interacted with the soldiers, he was in midst of them. The Prime Minister recalled that how he was in the midst of the soldiers during that war, during that 1990 war. He went 1999 Kargil war. So these images that we are beaming on your screens are from that time. The Prime Minister visited many of our injured soldiers in the military hospitals where they were admitted. Okay, Akshay, coming back to you, Akshay Dongre, our defense correspondent, who's on the phone line with us. Akshay, today the Prime Minister also referred, he said that, despite Pakistan being defeated and its nefarious designs being exposed to the world, but it doesn't seem to learn any lessons. It still uses terrorism as an instrument of state policy. It still engages in proxy war. We know what happened in the recent days in Jammu and Kashmir, where our soldiers were attacked. Some of them lost their lives. This war happened in 1999, but they didn't stop. The parliament attack, remember, happened after that. Uri happened after that. Pulwama happened after that. The post-abrogation of Mumbai 2008, 26/11 happened after that. In 2024 alone, if we talk, 12 soldiers have made the supreme sacrifice in Jammu division. So Pakistan continues this low intensity battle, though it hasn't done anything as audacious as Kargil. That's due to a variety of reasons. So have we learnt our lessons as a country, as a military, about the lessons from the Kargil war?
Well, I believe that we have learned some lessons. Some are yet to be learned. In fact, as far as certain sections of our country is concerned, it has to, the entire country as a whole unit has to understand that it's not just, the conventional warfare that Pakistan has been launching against India. And, as we mentioned, a different kind of attacks that have taken place in India, be it 2008 Mumbai terror attack, the 26/11 attack, the Uri attack, Pathankot, there was attack in Pulwama in 2019, and in fact, in the past, if you look at the past month, there have been several attacks where the terrorists have not distinguished between the armed personnel and the local population of the Union Territory of Jammu and Kashmir. They have been trying to bulldoze their way in. They have been trying to, in fact, threaten the local population, that if they do not cooperate with them, they will be also on target. So we have seen that young officers from young, youth of Jammu and Kashmir that has participated in the mainstream, that has joined the Indian Armed Forces. They have also, on many occasions, been brutally murdered. And in fact, one such example is Lieutenant Umar Fayaz, who was killed at his home. So there are several such examples, and India as a country is in a very unfortunate state. India is one of the fastest rising economy. It is making huge strides, be it the space sector, be it technology, be it manufacturing. But at the same time, India is in a position where it has to continuously also battle not just poverty, but terrorism that is being consistently launched from Pakistan. And the sole reason that it is happening is also because the Pakistani establishment have also been trying to divert the attention from their domestic issues, from their domestic problems towards India, saying that there is a war that's taking place. So Pakistan has been in a consistent state of mind of war. A consistent state of war with India, be it through conventional warfare, be it through unconventional warfare. So it has been a very difficult situation for India, and that is why, the celebration of Kargil war became extremely important, to remind the population that what India has endured, what it continues to endure, and if not vigilant, what it can suffer, that it had suffered in 1999. And I think one last point, Amrit, is what I feel, that Pakistan suffered a massive setback in 1999, where it realized that through conventional warfare it is not able to do anything, or rather achieve anything. In fact, it realized the superiority of the Indian armed forces in every domain. So that is why it seems that now not just attacking military establishment is on the cards, but also through destabilizing the region by terror funding, by infiltrations. So all of this is happening while India tries to remain on the path of growth and development. It also has to be in this consistent war against terror that is emanating right from its western borders, from Pakistan throughout the year.
One of the lessons that the Kargil Review Committee, Akshay, had said that India needs to continually review and plug the gaps being exploited by Pakistan. If we essentially look at Kargil, what was Kargil? It was basically Pakistan, an enemy who is perpetually looking for gaps in India's preparedness and is striking concurrently. But this needs constant review. As you said, the conventional war, they haven't got much, so they go in for low intensity war. Sometimes they turn on the tap, sometimes the tap is turned off. But then there are newer fronts on which the war is being fought, say cyber attacks. So it is. There is a constant need of reviewing and upgrading and reassessing the threat. Do you, as somebody who covers the beat, see that happening, that the Indian security establishment consistently upgrades itself given the evolving nature of threats, even while the enemy remains constant?
Well, there are certain lessons that the Indian military establishment has also learned, over the past 25 years, that and learning from others' mistakes as well. In fact, learning from the conflicts that the open conflicts that are taking place, in different parts of the world over the past 25 years, India has, started its own path towards modernization and, not just in terms of ammunition or guns or machine guns or tanks or fighter aircraft, but also in other domains, be it the space domain, be it the cyber domain. It is trying to modernize its equipment to ensure that there is no breach, there is no possibility of a breach by the terrorist elements. Second thing is as far as Atmanirbharta is concerned, self-reliance is concerned, India has also been consistently trying to ensure that it can meet its security requirements without depending on a third party. Because in many conflicts, for example, in 1971, we saw how larger powers that had industrial might, involved themselves into the 1971 war of Bangladesh's liberation, and how democratic countries like the United States of America or the United Kingdom also sided with Pakistan, a country that was committing heinous atrocities on the population of Bangladesh, which was East Pakistan back then. There was ethnic violence take place, yet India has struggled to get support from countries, democratic countries like the US and the UK and other countries in the West as well. When it was the Soviet Union that came to aid of India. So that on that front as well, when it comes to strategic affairs, when it comes to diplomacy, India has been vocally stating that Pakistan is harbor of terrorism. Pakistan has been doing terror funding, has been launching terrorists not just in India but in other nations as well. That point is also being taken, and that has also put international pressure on countries like Pakistan, where FATF and other organizations have also put Pakistan in grey list on multiple occasions. So yes, there has been a multifaceted approach that has been taken by the government of India to combat this disease, this mania of terrorism.
So, today the Prime Minister, while he was, speaking at the Kargil War Memorial after paying homage to our soldiers, to our fallen heroes and all those who, were injured and who fought the war there in 1999, he said, one thing I found very telling, and I want you to, give your assessment. He said, while he directly named Pakistan, he didn't name China, but the one statement was telling, he said, we will reply to the enemy, be it in Ladakh or in J&K. Ladakh, currently the enemy is not Pakistan. How do you read it?
Well, yes, absolutely. The safety and integrity of the country's foremost priority for the government of India. And, diplomacy may come second, absolutely, because when it comes to integrity and sovereignty of the country, there can be no compromises. And that is why perhaps, when it comes to Pakistan or be it other aggressors, India is going to name them and shame them as far as, these efforts of destabilizing regions are concerned. It has, while China has not been named openly by the government of India, the world is watching how China has in fact vetoed several attempts by India to blacklist or rather to announce terrorists that are living in Pakistan as global terrorists, to put sanctions on those terrorists. And those, it's not a very difficult or it's not a rocket science to understand that the world needs to blacklist global terrorists who are launching attacks against other countries, who are trying to destabilize other countries and also damaging their own people, and the reputation of their own countries while they are doing so. Vetoing or rather stopping the world from blacklisting is also being complicit in that particular act of any sort of terroristic incidents that are happening all across the region. So it seems that there is a clear message that it's be it Jammu and Kashmir, be it Ladakh, be it Arunachal Pradesh, be it any part of the country, when it comes to securing the borders, the Indian Armed Forces are not going to not going to see Pakistanis and other aggressors through different lenses. They are not going to distinguish among these enemies and are going to fight all of them the same when it comes to securing the borders of the nation.
All right. Akshay, stay on the line. Let's look at what the Prime Minister said. While he